Alright, so for today's video, I'm just going to go ahead and continue on something here. I've got Sportsnet on one side of my television and NHL 16 on the other. I've decided to power through. Power through an NHL 16 via GM. I've also brought my PS3 back out, and I plan to do the same with a NHL 14 via GM because I can't find my NHL 15 disc. And I haven't played NHL 15 on the PS3 since November. So that disc could be anywhere. It's not in the case, which is where it should be. But anyways, last night the Penguins evened up the series with Tampa. So now they're going home for Game 7 in a series that I really can't... I have no idea what's going to happen. Tonight, St. Louis is playing San Jose. St. Louis is going back to Brian Elliott. While I agreed with Matt Murray for the Penguins, it was an obvious choice to me anyways. Brian Elliott, less so for St. Louis. I'm not a big fan. I don't know. I think St. Louis is out tonight. I think San Jose is home and cleared. And I think they'll be waiting for the winner between Pittsburgh and Tampa. The final starts on Monday. I'll obviously do my prediction probably Monday morning or Sunday night. And we'll see whether or not I can get any of this right. Because Pittsburgh won that game, but again, I'm so tired of watching teams get a lead and then stop playing. And it is a problem with the NHL, and I think it started with somewhere along the way, some coach somewhere said, we don't want to run up the score. So we're just going to play back. And I'm sorry, but if the team you're playing is giving you opportunities, take them. If you can win a game 5, 6, 7, nothing, do it. The whole idea of it's poor sportsmanship or, oh, you're running up the score, you know what? It's a game. And if you have a chance to do it, I mean, there's players who, can pad their stats. Who cares? I look at baseball, and I've never seen a mercy rule in baseball. I've never seen a guy go up to the plate and go, well, I could probably hit a single, but we're already up 6-1, so I'm just going to swing at 3 bad pitches and go sit down. No, they still try because their individual stats are tied to their paychecks. And for some reason, other professional sports don't seem to understand that. There's hockey players who finished the year with 18 goals that if they had 20 or 21, might get some more money on their contract. And maybe those games where they decide to sit back and play back. It's not even the trap anymore. As I said in that previous video about a month ago, the trap is defeated in the NHL. The trap is no longer capable of controlling a game. The left wing walk came in at one point, whatever that is, that's still the trap. But teams are doing the stretch pass so much that trapping is just trapping yourself. And with the stretch pass, and Tampa and Pittsburgh are both capable of it. San Jose is certainly capable of the stretch pass. St. Louis, if Tarasenko wakes up, he can do the stretch pass. It's amazing because you can quickly turn a trap into a trap on the other team because you're suddenly on a breakaway. Yeah, they had 3 guys across the blue line. Awesome, you just go through between 2 of them and you're in. I am very frustrated by what I'm seeing in hockey right now, which is this very thing. And some of my favorite memories as a hockey fan, I remember watching this team here, Calgary, lose 11-1 to Vancouver. Poor Jeff Reese was in net for most of that game. I don't remember if he played the whole 11 goals or not. He might have. And of course, it was Dave Reese got his only NHL game with Boston, and that was the night Darryl Sittler got 7 points or whatever it was. That's why when Leafs fans are like, Sittler got X amount of points, and it's like, yeah, on a goalie who'd never played in the NHL before and never played again after that. So it's a bit of a mixed blessing. Pretty sure if Boston had Jerry Cheevers in net, he probably would have stopped a couple of those. So while it's important Sittler got a record, and I'm but it's just one of those things that some of the best memories of games, Sittler's record. Well, that wouldn't happen now because you'd have guys like, we're running up the score. We got to throw some goons on the ice. Damn it, they're running up the score. But the other option is to get up two or three goals and then just sit back. And once you've sat back, and I watched Pittsburgh do this last night, once you've sat back and you've given Tampa, half the ice to work with, you're not pressuring them anymore. They're scary as shit. And then you can't just turn that switch back on. You can't go, oh, wait a minute, now it's 3-2. We better start playing. You can't do it. Just keep pressuring. Don't change the way you're playing. Keep pressuring. Keep playing. Keep trying to be, the best team on the ice the whole 60 minutes. And if you beat them 6-1, you beat them 6-1. At least they didn't get a chance to come back and make a game of it. You have to take them out of the game. And to me, when a team's down by 2, even when a team's down by 3, they're not out of the game, especially Tampa. Tampa has a scary amount of talent on that team. I had to laugh. There was a hockey news. Excuse me. There was a hockey news I was reading, which had the 2011 draft in it, and it was rating the draft records of all of the GMs coming out of the 2011 draft, and it gave an A+ to, I think it was the Islanders, because they had like 6 or 7 draft picks, and it gave a bunch of teams really good grades, but it gave a horrible grade to the Tampa Lightning. It said Tampa went heavy on Russians, and that's dangerous. Yep. Kucherov, Nestorov, Palat. None of those bums are going to ever play in the NHL. Nemesnikov was in there too. Couldn't believe it. It's like there's a hockey news saying, oh, well, you can't draft Russians. That's just stupid. And I remember even back at the time thinking, wait, why aren't teams drafting Russians? And this was at a point when players were choosing to stay in Russia or sign contracts in the KHL. The young kids weren't seen as wanting to come over to the NHL, and there was sort of a feud between the KHL and the NHL. So teams were hesitant to draft Russians. I don't understand that. Draft the best player available. Who cares where he's from? Who cares if he's going to college? You draft the best player available. As long as you go with BPA, your odds of getting a steal in the late rounds goes through the roof. Your odds of looking like a genius goes through the roof. Always draft the best player available. I even go as far as to say that don't draft for what you need. If you need a defenseman, you can pay attention to that in the 4th or 5th round and say, all right, well, let's look for a diamond in the rough here. But in the 1st, 2nd round, just take the best player available. I don't care if he's a defenseman, center. I don't care if it's a goaltender. Take the best player available. I remember when Montreal drafted Carey Price. Everybody said, well, why do they need Carey Price? They have Jose Theodore. Theodore's, a good young goaltender. They have no problems in that. They have Matthew Garon coming up. They don't need another goalie. Can you imagine if they passed on Carey Price and gone with anybody else? I mean, it would be insanity to even think of passing on Carey Price. If anything, the teams that passed on Carey Price before he was drafted would look back and go, man, we could have used that goaltender. So you draft the best player available, no matter what. 1st round, no matter what. So the Canucks are talking about drafting a defenseman. If they're not in the top 3, they're going to be defensemen. They didn't get the top 3. So the idea is, all right, well, they'll probably draft Levy if he's still there, if Edmonton doesn't pick him up, or Chychrun. My fear is that if they draft Chychrun at 5, and a guy like Dubois or Tkachuk moves down, because again, if Edmonton picks Levy, That's the kind of move that could come back to haunt the Canucks later. That they're trying to find that need, and if Tkachuk becomes what his dad was, which is a fantastic power forward and a 40 goal scorer, you've really screwed up your team. And it's no slight to Chychrun, but he's not projected to be Erik Karlsson. He's not projected to be, necessarily a top 2 defenseman. Definitely top 4, but it's one of those things where I would rather wait until the second round and grab Johansson's brother. I don't have a problem with that. Playing in Kelowna means he's probably learned to play defense pretty damn well. And in terms of prospects, the Canucks at center are stacked. You can always move a center to the wing. Always. And sometimes teams move wings to center. I know Dallas tried that with Jamie Benn. It didn't work out. Chicago at one point tried that with Patrick Kane. It didn't really work out very well. He's back on the wing, but you draft the best player available. So I'm going to do my mock draft pretty soon. I mean, we're up at May 25th, so we're a month out from the draft. And then we're, 35 days out from seeing where players land in free agency. And I'm mildly nervous about it. Not going to lie. Because this is the Canucks' chance to really turn things around, potentially. And for Calgary, this is a chance for the Flames in a down year to potentially add another solid prospect to what is already a scary young team, and they could be a powerhouse for years to come in the West. If Johnny Gaudreau's body can hold up to 82-game seasons, and as he has so far, but at his height and his weight, it's going to be tough year in and year out. Eventually, it does usually get to the smaller guys, unless you're Marty St. Louis. And Gaudreau definitely has the talent to be another Marty St. Louis. Or better. But, yeah, tonight's game is big. This would be San Jose's first Stanley Cup final. And for St. Louis, if they can somehow gut out a win tonight, then they're going home to Game 7. And there's so much potential in the Blues. And if they lose this game, if San Jose knocks them out tonight, I don't know where St. Louis goes. I don't know who you trade. I don't know who you keep. I don't know what you do, because they had a fantastic season from start to finish. They had a fantastic run in the playoffs. And if it ends like this, I really don't know what you change. Their team is so strong. You can't fire Hitchcock because he made it to the third round. You just can't fire Ken Hitchcock. So you're basically going into training camp with largely the same team, same coaching staff. It's a recipe potentially for disaster. Because if they go out this way, there's the chance that in October they sort of will have a letdown. There's been plenty of teams that have gone on great runs, and then the following season they just don't have it, and they fall out of the playoffs. And you need that strong start to make the playoffs. So anyways, I'm hoping St. Louis wins it. I'm not betting on it. I'm not holding my breath. Not a Sharks fan. I'm not a Calgary fan either. I've got an insane number of Calgary Flames jerseys. And right now in my shopping list on the Lids website, I have an Atlanta Flames jersey. I will be so happy to have Atlanta. Oh my God, Atlanta Flames to go with my Atlanta Thrashers. I tell you, that would be sharp, because it's a Calgary Flames jersey just with the A on the front, and it pops. And the other jersey that I've got my eye on potentially is the Islanders' third jersey that they retired last year. That ugly black one with the Islanders across the front and the logo on the sleeve, and it's got gray and blue, and it's ugly, very ugly. But I've got that ugly Buffalo jersey, the yellow one, and I love it. And I've got the ugly Flying V jersey of the Canucks, and I love that one too. So I have I want to have one stylish, really nice jersey that people look at and go, that's a nice shirt. And I want to have one to go with it that people look at and go, what in the hell was he thinking when he put that on this morning? He had a nice shirt on. Why is he wearing this hideous monstrosity? That's the reaction I want. That's absolutely the reaction I want. So I guess we'll see if I can strike the balance or not. Anyways, thanks for watching, and go Blues go. I hope Brian Elliott plays better than I think he will, but we'll find out. I St. Louis's goaltending wasn't a lot better than Dallas's, but it was better to the point that they beat Dallas. But this again is it shows why no, you don't need a superstar goaltender. But there are a couple of teams that could probably have used one. Dallas and right now St. Louis. That starter that the team has no lack of faith in. Pittsburgh went through that last night with Matt Murray. I think Matt Murray is the starter. I think Marc-Andre Fleury's career in Pittsburgh is over. I think it's now Matt Murray's team. Sort of like, and in Tampa, Ben Bishop. I mean, Bishop is the guy. I know Vasilevsky's played well, but he hasn't played Bishop well. Bishop is on this level, and Vasilevsky's just a little bit below. No insult to Vasilevsky, and given 3 or 4 more years in the NHL, I think his ceiling is much higher than Bishop's. But for where they are right now, Bishop's a better goaltender. So I do think that if Bishop was in this series the whole way along, I think Tampa's probably already in the final. But again, it's not an insult to Vasilevsky. He's a good goaltender, but Bishop is that good. So anyways, we'll see how well I do or don't do tonight. If I had to make a call, I'd say San Jose tonight. And I would say they'll score at least 4 goals. And I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Elliott's pulled before the end of the game in favor of Jake Allen. Maybe between the first and second, or second and third, depending on the score, depending on momentum, and depending on Hitchcock's mood. So it is a rough ride being a goaltender in the NHL with tremendous highs and tremendous lows. And along the way, Martin Jones has played pretty damn well. Minus Game 4, he has actually played pretty damn well for San Jose, and I can't take anything away from him. San Jose's made it relatively easy for him in his victories, but he still has to make those saves. You still have to make the saves when the shots come to you. So full marks to him for doing that, and full marks to the Sharks for being willing to give up a first-round draft pick for a guy who had never been a starter before. It's a gutsy move. Alrighty, that's it for me.